Right, welcome back to another wargame. As you see, I am up against 30k. Overall, the games was pretty good. I was going with a new tactic for Polish Airborne. I'll mostly be concentrating on my side. You see, 30k, he's a pretty damn good player, I'll give him that. He knew what to do against what I was up to. Now, instead of telling you my plan, I'm gonna let it slowly reveal. You see that I send these guys over to Delta, right? Now, 30k, pretty typical, landing and taking troops everywhere. I land a small portion of my force in the middle. A flanking maneuver here, but it gets spotted, I believe. No, I spot his Chinooks, which are carrying Delta Force. He loves his Delta Force. So, this little engagement happens as the Delta Force gets wrecked and my guys flank around. I got Commandoskis in the center, just their job's going to be annihilate, but it brings up LA's stingers and lots of riflemen to counter. I wasn't even aware. Then he has his little command squad down. So here, wish I'd seen that. And I start bringing up my attack. Now obviously at this time he's congratulating me for outflanking him. But at the same time, I was doing the same because he was using the overwhelming number of riflemen against my few Commandoskis. As you see, even though I'm able to kill a few, the Delta Force in the back totally annihilate. So then I move up this little portion of my force, hoping to nab something in the rear. Ah, that's where it was. Clever. And my helicopters just cause hell. So back to full speed. Anyway, I'm advancing up here, and oh look, CV. Anyway, the battle, you see, it's a very risky yet cunning strategy this, but your center does become phenomenally weak. He did draw troops out of Delta, and that could explain the mass numbers now. And I do bring up my, whatever you call Polish paratroopers, then he does see them. And you see this Celtic just like, oh, enemies, and all the flak panzers. So the engagement's about to start. I'm not aware that he's seen me at this point. He's seen one unit, so I was hoping to take down the Humvee, then kill the rifleman. But obviously, the powers are not that skilled. See in the center, I pull back, and now I'm reeling in for my losses. I done pretty well. I garrison this road. He sends an empty Humvee at me. Pretty common tactic actually, sending empty Humvees at your enemy. And that's it. He does advance a little bit more, and I do have plans to pull back across the river. I also try and sneak more units into Delta. Well, not into Delta, outside. Around land. Oh yeah, I do land in Delta. Oh yes, I remember now. I take that road and just watch. The battle lines in this game were quite evenly on my side. You see I bring this helicopter around into Alpha. This I have to show you. This was actually the best plan. So you see, my deck's currently winning. He sends another empty Humvee up. I don't mind him feeding me points, to be honest. I actually enjoy it. Wow, yeah, the Celtic there? Oh. Oh my. Ooh my. Huh. So he was planning to retake it. So, look where that's landed. Oh yes, on the back of a truck. Yeah! Truck tactics. So you see his force comes in. I'm bringing Estrella, conveniently. And he's got his Cobra coming up. Estrella doesn't, sadly enough, cannot reload or shoot. And it gets fairly destroyed. Then he brings up his command. I bring in a war truck. I call them war trucks because I cannot pronounce their name. Right behind is the Cobra. And you see, I dominate most of the map. My map control is pretty good. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna find your stuff. No, war truck time. You would think the war truck would win, but it doesn't. So it was really a game of rouge at this point. Like, who would go where, and he flies all the way across the sector, and that war truck's just invisible. I mean, like, as you can clearly see, my war truck is safe. You need to be right beside it to see it. So, in this meanwhile, back in the center, he is pushing up. We sort of ignore it because of all the action going on. I was thinking about, yeah, I do bring in reinforcements. Not enough, thinking of it now. Probably should have reinforced Alpha a bit more. Delta was a bit of a waste, but meh, I got a points advantage when it comes to income. So anyway, he's got his Cobra just hanging out. Bring upstairs. These guys, I hate. Because he sets them up right at my spawn point. I do try and place something in the forest, I remember correctly, because I didn't see his side, but I had an instinct. We were talking, yeah, but we weren't talking about each other's plans. So you see, then he starts building up his little task force to retake Alpha. Now obviously what he's thinking, well, what does Alpha have? I know he has 2 Commandoskis in those buildings. 2 Commandoskis. And you could see them quite well. Due to his recon. No, he can't. But he knows that they're there. And why would you move them back? There's no point. Then it occurs to me, right? There's buildings right behind them. Yeah, I did have a feeling that there were tanks. That's why I had stuff down here just by convenience. Trust me, if I wanted to make this game look good for me, it would be over 5 seconds. I would dominate the entire map, have Charlie. Probably should have pressed for Charlie and cut off their forces. So anyway, you see, I see his Humvees coming up the road. And I'm like 2 units together, stopping, reversing. Something ain't right. Then I see that. And I'm like, okay, right, so you got movement on a mass scale. So, I see his units move up. My guy's rifles are turned off at this point. So then he starts to advance. Now obviously what he's doing, he's wanting me to shoot first, because then my Commandoskis will reveal their positions and fire. So I move back. And his shot only hits the war truck. On the bright side though, my guys are in position. So then he comes up with all his armor, and he's like, okay, it's safe. Nope. Get one. Get another. And he's like, okay, so he's pulled back to a safer position. So I'm going to advance forward now. Take that position. But you obviously don't know me well enough. I catch his infantry out in the open using the Commandoski's rapid fire gun and utterly annihilate them. That unit's still there, by the way, and there's nothing happening up here. And then he uses that. Obviously in anger. I mean, like, can't really blame him. These tanks, though, I should have pushed up the road. Should have known better. Should have known better. See, he's got planes and I don't counter him. So now he's using the light rifleman again. And he thinks, okay, so I killed his guys. No, I didn't get any points. He's going to do the exact same thing as... I was tempted to bring in Navy, but what's the point in bringing in Navy to a ground fight? You know? So yes, it does get back to this little boring state of hide and go seek. And he starts bringing out a hell of a lot of planes. Just, you know, abuse the fact that I have no AA in the area. And my Strela do come in, and I'm like, okay, Strela time. Alright. Do I actually see them, though? So he's driving down the road. I move up. And then I'm like, wait a minute. There's something bad. No, I don't move down. Of course, I just keep going my way. Now, it's obviously going to... Well, it's not going to hit my AA field. I actually forgot about it. And I'm angry because my guys didn't hit that F-111. You see the points are still fairly close, but... You know. It's Kingstrategist. I do have artillery in the back. And I do retreat to these crossings to guard. I'm in a good position. but I can't bring in troops. So effectively, I've lost this sector. Because I didn't bring my guys back. I was thinking, okay, I'll flank around, attack him. Because you have nothing there. 2 sectors, very few points. But he's using his aircraft quite effectively. And the fact that I'm not pushing. I don't know why I stopped pushing. So my powers are back, and he's gaining points again. So, speed up the game a bit. What do we see? He's trying to overwhelm me with more Humvees. Now he brings up LATVs. I'm like, holy crap, I cannot handle that crap. So I try and pull back into that building. Realizing, okay, he's going to use the LATVs to their full advantage. I try and keep running, but my guys get stunned. So I bring in, handle his little reserve force with all my tanks. And then I start rocket artillery. I know I'm going to hit something. And you see the fighting still on and off over there. And then we pretty much stop pushing on each other's fronts. Because I own this side. So I can safely bring in stuff again. And you see this mass horde of armor. You wouldn't expect this from an aircraft deck. He does kill my Commandoskis due to poor micromanagement on my part. Not on his part, because he killed 15 Commandoskis. Oh. So, obviously, he knows that stuff's there. I do have units here, and I wasn't aware that he could see them quite clearly. Now that's back to my view. So yeah, it's pretty much even on either side. I got this aircraft just roaming about. Didn't realize, oh wait, there wasn't anything there. So the Harrier's pursuing it. You never want to underestimate Harrier, kids. So now he's trying to cross the field. And this one little tank hunter's just going berserk. Oh, and all the war trucks. Quite angry at the loss of my war trucks, and the fact that LATV grenade launchers are completely powerful. I mean, like, the grenades stun everything. You can't mess with that. Thankfully, though, we can't see anything. Wait, what's that? Do you hear the sound of an armored column coming out the woods to handle 2 LATVs? Because I do. Well, 1. 1 tank done that, remember. He only knows it was 1 tank. So let's fast forward again. Because I honestly don't know how long I can talk. So it brings up his Cobras like, okay, no AA in the sector. Better go and abuse that. And speed up some more. So it brings his Harrier in. And like, let's check your AA defenses. Oh yeah, you could... Now there's a curious moment. We obviously cannot go back in time. But I never did find out. Was it just a lucky shot? In anger, I start bringing all these units up, and this was my real downfall. I got into the point where I was so cocky and confident. I literally tried to land right at his doorstep. This was my downfall. And you're gonna see how quickly it happened. Like, I'm pushing forward with my tanks, but the Stirrups are just very powerful. I'm trying to beat them back, but I run in open with my infantry. I got this infantry moving through the woods, but without armor or AA, they're nothing. So I try and recuperate my losses by bringing up more tanks. Not gonna happen. You see the score. Yes, he nearly won. So hoping at this point I might be able to get something just to make our draw. You know, that one assault out of my pure cockiness lost me the game. So I hope you enjoy that, and see you next time.